AJ Dybantsa entered college with expectations few prospects have ever experienced. Every major recruiting service ranked him as the #1 player in his class. NBA scouts followed him years before graduation, and by the time he stepped onto a college court, many already believed he was destined to become the first overall pick. Then he backed it up. He led the nation in scoring as a freshman, delivered some of the biggest performances in college basketball, and turned one season at BYU into one of the most productive freshman campaigns in recent memory. But as impressive as those numbers were, they only tell part of the story. Because AJ Dybantsa didn't suddenly become basketball's next big prospect overnight. The journey started years before anyone outside high school basketball knew his name. AJ Dybantsa was born in Brockton, Massachusetts, on January 29, 2008. Basketball surrounded him from an early age, and it didn't take long before people realized he was developing much faster than everyone around him. While most kids his age were still learning the basics, AJ was already competing against older players and holding his own. His development accelerated quickly. He played varsity basketball while still middle school-aged and immediately stood out because of his size, confidence, and scoring ability. As a freshman, he earned Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year honors, something almost unheard of for a ninth grader. It became clear that this wasn't just another talented young player. He was building the resume of a future professional. The next major decision only increased the attention around him. AJ reclassified, allowing him to enter the 2026 NBA draft a year earlier than originally expected. The move placed even more pressure on him, but instead of slowing down, he kept separating himself from every other prospect in his class. Every major recruiting service continued ranking him as the #1 player in America. Every showcase brought more attention. Every tournament seemed to strengthen the belief that he was becoming the best prospect available. One of the biggest moments came on the Nike EYBL circuit. Competing against the best high school players in the country, AJ consistently looked like the most complete scorer on the floor. At the 2023 Peach Jam, he finished as one of the event's biggest stars, outperforming several players who would later become elite college recruits themselves. Against the highest level of competition, he wasn't just surviving, he was taking over games. International basketball only strengthened his reputation. Representing USA basketball, his biggest breakthrough came at the 2025 FIBA U19 World Cup. Playing against the best teenagers in the world, he averaged over 14 points per game, led the United States to another gold medal, and was named the tournament's most valuable player. Winning MVP on that stage confirmed what scouts had believed for years. His game translated well beyond high school basketball. By the time his recruitment reached its final stages, virtually every major college basketball program wanted him. Instead, AJ made one of the most surprising decisions of the recruiting cycle. He committed to BYU. For many people, the decision didn't make sense at first. Why choose a program without the same basketball history as the blue blood schools? The answer centered on development. New BYU head coach Kevin Young had spent years in the NBA, helping develop players such as Devin Booker during his time with the Phoenix Suns. AJ believed the quickest path toward becoming NBA-ready wasn't necessarily the biggest basketball brand. It was learning from someone who had already helped develop elite professional talent. The commitment instantly became one of the biggest in program history. AJ arrived as the highest-rated recruit BYU had ever signed, bringing national attention to the program before playing a single game. The expectations were enormous. Then the season started. Instead of needing months to adjust, AJ immediately became one of the best players in college basketball. He averaged 25.5 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game while leading the nation in scoring as a freshman. Against experienced college defenders, he consistently created offense from all three levels, attacked the rim with confidence, and carried one of the largest offensive workloads in the country. The individual performances kept getting bigger. He scored a career-high 43 points against Utah, followed it with a 40-point performance against Kansas State, and delivered 35 points during the NCAA tournament. As the season progressed, his confidence only continued to grow. During the final stretch of the year, he consistently elevated his production while becoming the focal point of every opposing defense. His freshman season quickly entered the record books. AJ finished with 894 total points, one of the highest scoring totals ever recorded by a Division I freshman, while rewriting numerous BYU freshman records along the way. The awards reflected just how dominant his season had been. He became a consensus first-team All-American, won the Julius Erving Award as the nation's best small forward, earned Big 12 Freshman of the Year honors, and officially finished as the NCAA scoring champion. By the end of the season, the conversation surrounding the 2026 NBA draft had changed completely. Rather than debating whether AJ belonged among the best prospects, the question became whether anyone deserved to be selected ahead of him. When draft night arrived, the answer became official. With the first overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, the Washington Wizards selected AJ Dybantsa. Years of expectations had finally led to the moment everyone predicted. He also became the first player from Massachusetts selected first overall since Patrick Ewing in 1985, adding another milestone to an already remarkable basketball journey. From a young teenager dominating varsity competition to the highest-ranked recruit in the country, from leading the nation in scoring as a freshman to hearing his name called first on draft night, every stage of AJ's career has brought bigger expectations than the one before it. Now those expectations reach their highest point yet. Being the number one pick creates opportunity. Living up to it is something else entirely. AJ Dybantsa has already proven he belongs among basketball's biggest prospects. Now comes the hardest part, turning potential into production at the NBA level. The next chapter won't be decided by recruiting rankings, awards, or draft position. It'll be decided on an NBA court,